r/AskReddit by QuriosityCat. Millennials, what is one thing that the rest of us just don't understand? That the average millennial is 30 years old, not a teeny bopper or college kid. This one bugs me the most. It seems like people always associate millennials with young kids. I'm a grown-ass man, I just want someone to watch me pee like any normal person. Ever been to a professional sporting event and groaned at the price of admission, concessions, and even water? It's been kind of like living an entire life inside of that stadium. You deserve gold, but this thread is full of millennials and no one's got the cash. Looks like they're already got themselves a sugar daddy since your comment. Wait a minute, sugar daddies are the answer. Sugar boomers are the answer. Ms. Word is not a ducking design program and shouldn't be used as one. Also, PowerPoint is also not a design program. And if you're going to use PowerPoint as a design program, please at least export it as a PDF. When people who grew into adulthood in the 2000s and 2010s ignore your economic, career advice, it's not because we're snotty or ungrateful or don't value your opinion. It's because the economy is so different that advice which may have been good in the 50s to 80s is not likely to still be good. Just walk right in and ask to talk to the CEO and say I want a job. I would die laughing if someone told me to do this. And so would the CEO. If CEO ever even visited your country, or spoke your language, or recognized your existence. I'm the oldest millennial. I have worked ridiculously hard, with no end in sight, to make the same money my dad, with no degree or specialized training, made and makes to this day. Out of curiosity, and just trying to level set perspectives. On oldest millennial, how old are you? 999 years old. As a millennial, I vouch for this. Most people don't know the age of millennials. To them, a millennial is someone that they hate and happens to be younger than them. Can confirm. I saw a lady on Facebook who essentially trashed millennials in one paragraph and in the next bragged about her daughter being in a high-level position at her company and working very hard after finishing college. She was convinced her daughter wasn't a millennial, even when people showed her the ranges. The discussion devolved into an argument about what the year range was. This sounds like my mother who thinks baby boomers are only those who are rich. I try to explain that baby boomer is the name of a whole generation, and that she is 1 year off being one, and she doesn't have a bar of it. Well shoot, born 1 year too late to be rich. Sorry to hear. Why it is that most of the older generation, and some millennials, can have something called a cell phone in their pocket and decide to never take a minute to fact-check something that sounds suspicious. When I was going through school, computers were just starting to become a standard part of education. What we were taught about the internet was to be always cautious, for example never use your real name, never meet someone from the internet, and to always be suspicious, never trust a single website, trace your source to the origin, find a book to confirm if you can. My mother grew up without the internet at all. She held a programming job where computer time had to be booked a week ahead. Everything she learned growing up was from supposedly trusted individuals, such as teachers. It's still hard to disabuse her of misconceptions taught to her in primary school in a third world country. Now she's a full-on conspiracy theorist, and I can't help but wonder how many people like her are where they are because they grew up without being taught to be skeptical of their sources, because they grew up in time and place where they didn't have to be. Then what explains why they are never skeptical of memes and random conspiracy posts on Facebook? Is it because it's their friends and family that share it? I still find that weird how gullible they are towards the worst sources of information on the internet, but then they immediately put their guard up when a well-known news source reports on something, even when the sources are the same handful of news outlets they had to rely on for news 40-50 years ago. How to rotate a goddamn PDF. Ctrl/Shift/+. Okay, I'm 37 and I didn't know this. I thought Ctrl+ is to zoom in. Ctrl+Shift++. There are a lot of hotkey combinations where Ctrl+ key is different from Control plus Shift plus key. That it's hard, even in my early 30s, with a good full-time job, to afford rent and food and everything else. I wish I have been born in a time where working a job like I have now would pay for a 3-bedroom house and 2 cars. No, I'm not lazy. I just don't think I should have to work 2 full-time jobs just to survive. Yes. And that most jobs aren't even full-time. They're either contract full-time or part-time so that businesses don't have to pay benefits. This bullshit is why I can't get a job in a field I received a degree in, occupational therapy assistant. Almost all of the jobs are classified as PRN, which means no set schedule or benefits. I want a stable income and benefits, which is apparently too much for a hospital. Those 20 people will just push them into the red. After talking to some older folks, it seems that they are just absolutely out of touch with the cost of living versus average pay. They actually believe that if you work as hard as they did or as much as they did, or you save money, that you can afford the same things they did. And many of them just refuse to even attempt to see things from a modern point of view. They don't understand that you can't work your way up to assistant manager at a convenience store and earn enough money to work your own way through college, then land that dream job where you make enough to support your SO and 3 kids with a 4-bedroom house and 2 cars, all while keeping up on college tuition payments. Or go the route of just learning a trade on the job and doing it that way. It simply does not work that way anymore. Things cost more than they used to, and you get paid less for the same kind of work. I always hear this, and I believe that most people have been told this by their parents or whatever. I remember a few years ago I was having a conversation with my father and he said something like, "I'm sorry my generation screwed everything up for you guys." There are a lot of people who know how difficult it is for young people, but they are just as clueless on how to fix it as we are. Holy shoot, yeah, I'm on the lower end of the millennial scale, but I have a full-time job that pays quite well, above the median wage I believe, and I couldn't even afford a house below $250,000 Australian. Seems crazy that I can be earning more than basically all my friends and still be no closer to getting my own place. That we aren't children. We aren't 15-year-old kids eating Tide Pods. The less than 2 dozen that did that. We are college graduates, trade school grads, union workers, and every other slice of the workforce. We have trades, kids, experience, and retirement plans. Not as many as should, but the economy the boomers left us is what we have to work with. We aren't stupid kids or out-of-touch hippies going to college to get degrees in mermaids and avocado toast. We are, it seems, the only damn grown-ups in the US half the time, and it is exasperating that so many people seem to believe otherwise. Edit, thanks for the silver and the gold. I appreciate the support in my old age, haha. The whole just go get a better job / put out for a promotion line of thought. A lot of the time we just can't do that, and one particularly annoying part of it is because you're still sitting at the top. In my profession there is very little to no upward movement. The median age for a full-time teacher where I've worked is in the late 50s, early 60s. Nothing against them, as sometimes they can have brilliant ideas / techniques. But it's frustrating to look at the job ladder and see no one going up because people won't / can't get off, and you can't get on. Older generations, find what you love to do and do it. Also older generations, no, don't do that, you can't make a living off that. You have to wait till I'm done before you can have the job, and I totally forgot to save for retirement, lol. Oh, and don't mind us ruining the entire company's long-term health with short-term stock pumping schemes. When we don't really sell ourselves on Microsoft programs in job interviews, it's because that's like asking if we know how to write. We grew up with the shoot. It's not hard. I think that only applies to Word, and I've learned a ton of stuff you can do in Word in my current job that I never knew about. Excel is a whole different language and I know nothing about the other programs. Evidently the newer Gen Z coming up need to work on this shoot. Some of them know basic Microsoft because of tablets and phones. When I was in college I had to take a class on Microsoft Word to graduate. And despite knowing all the material I still barely passed because the shitty educational software they used to teach us the ins and outs was a piece of shit and would constantly register my correct answers as wrong, but the professor refused to believe me. Your answer is pressing the button. That answer is wrong. The correct answer is pressing the button. This is for the older people. Yes, you are wiser than us. Yes, you have more experience than us. But your advice usually does not apply to the times. That's not how we did it back in the day. Yay. That's the point, Grandma. Times change. People change. Technology changes. Don't get mad at us because we lived in a time of increasing convenience. And most importantly, it's ironic how millennials are viewed in a bad light, but we are expected to solve all the world's problems. Edit. I understand that old age usually does not come with wisdom. But man, the older people I've come across say the wisest things. And for the most part they do know what they're talking about. There are a few old people who talk out of their mass, but for the most part, wisdom runs through their blood. Edit. This was my first day on Reddit after 30 days, and in that time period I earned 7,000 karma and a silver award. Thanks so much. Oh my god, this. Many older people seem to think that we aren't taking their advice/suggestions because we are lazy, and that's why things aren't working out for us. But no, it's because your suggestions do not work anymore. Just walk in and hand them your resume, saying you want to work. That's what we did. Just walk in, shake his hand, and tell him you're the man for the job. He'll admire your moxie. And if the moxie doesn't impress him, you'll wow them with your chutzpah. That most of us have actually done customer service jobs our whole life. And when people talk about how millennials and the younger generations are all about instant gratification, each and every one of us has vivid memories of old ducking dirt bags throwing goddamn tantrums because they didn't get their way right that very moment. Old people have absolutely no patience for anything. Younger people typically have more manners. Read somewhere once that if you ask an older person for help and thank them, they'll say you're welcome. If you ask a younger generation and thank them, they'll usually say it's okay, or don't mention it. This is cause the older generation considers it a favor from them to you and you should be thankful, while the younger generation don't. That's interesting. Once had a boomer thank me for something trivial, don't recall what, and she scolded me for replying with no problem. I said no problem at my old job, and my boss at the time told me that by saying that I'm implying there could potentially be a problem asking me for something. I was really confused. It's not that deep. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Do you know a great AskReddit thread that you'd like to see on this channel? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe to our channel and smash that like button. We'd really appreciate it. The Curiosity Cat is watching and meowing. Meow. Talk to you later.